It is 7 minutes after 8 o'clock here at WCET. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, Ricky.
We've people knew what we talk about off air.
What do you mean?
Like all our conversations we have, we're not on air.
No, that's that's part of the fun. Like
I know.
You gotta be on the inside.
If they knew what was going down.
For real.
So,
Plotting and planning.
I'm telling you, it's one of those things. I think it's pretty cool the way things are going this morning. I'm looking forward to our guest.
Are you?
I am.
He's one you brought in.
Yes, it's one I got to pick.
And it's a male.
And a male.
And that's
how
rare.
his, he and that goes in that category.
Yep.
I mean, it's rare. We've had a couple guys.
We've had a couple of guys, but usually when I bring them in, it's females and we team up on you. So
maybe we can do that to her today, Michael. Okay.
Are y'all? What's the goal? Are y'all trying to embarrass me or make me cry? Which one?
I never want to make somebody cry.
Yeah,
Good.
Well,
Okay.
Actually, I take it back. There are times I want to make somebody cry, but it's not that often.
Well, introduce your guest,
Well, Michael Lee's here with us.
Michael Lee.
Michael?
Thanks for having me.
One of my favorite people from the square, by the way.
Thank
Just saying. I even want to add, it took me a little while to catch him. Like, I kind of had to stalk you for a little bit to even catch you.
That's fair.
It's not the first time he's
Elusive.
had someone tell him that.
He's elusive. Like, you never know if you're...
I never know if I'm going to be there.
Is it midnight, or is it 7 in the morning, or is it 12 in the afternoon? Like,
Yeah.
I never knew when I was going to catch him.
All right, so introduce yourself, Michael. Tell a little about yourself.
Okay, Michael Lee. I'm originally from Huntland. I moved to Nashville for about a decade and ended up back in Winchester with a recording studio.
And their studio's called...
Rare Records.
Now, I've got the privilege of going the last 2 weekends and listening to some music from in there and seen some pretty good acts the last 2 weekends. I was really impressed Saturday.
Rub it in. Just keep rubbing it in, because I'm not downtown anymore. I don't get any inside scoop.
We only put
Ricky
up like
doesn't
100
take
we
care
put,
of
we
me.
put up like 100 flyers.
I mean, I only posted it on our Facebook page like 30 times.
Oh, oops. I'm not on Facebook right now.
So, I mean,
Okay. Never mind.
and I never know what you're doing on the weekends. You're hard to catch also.
Yay. I'm elusive, too.
You're one of those that's always going somewhere, bouncing here or there. Then you were doing something Saturday when I texted you. Because I did text you Saturday.
What was I doing?
You were over in Tullahoma for something.
I don't even remember.
Because I did text you.
I don't even drink and I don't remember.
So don't blame me.
All right. So Rare Records. I know that there's a story behind this name.
Yeah, so it's Randolph Artistry and Relative Entertainment. It's named after Ike Owens. I produced his record and he passed away. And it's kind of like an homage to him. If we were ever in a bar somewhere and the bartender had his credit card, they'd be like, Randolph. He'd be like, shh, he didn't want anybody to know. So it's kind of like a silent homage. I didn't want to put Ike's name on it. I just wanted to, use his first name.
I like the shirts, though, because the first time I saw it, I thought it was a Dare shirt.
I did too.
Yeah.
Which made me laugh.
Right, it's a psychological association. It's strictly intentional.
Strictly intentional.
So we're talking about the studio. The studio's amazing. Like, you've been going there. It's gorgeous facilities, state of the art, everything. There's no, nothing is second class in there. And that's what, when you think of a recording studio in Winchester, that's not what I would have pictured ever. I remember the first time I was like, oh, there's a studio on the square. And I'm like, where? Because I've been around that square 1,000 times. Where is there a studio? I'm like, oh, it's in one of the little side buildings down there by the city hall. And I still didn't believe it.
Well, my first studio was not state of the art.
Well, I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere.
Right.
But this one, like, run through some of the equipment y'all got, because it is, that board blows me away.
The main piece of equipment we have right now is the Solid State Logic Duality 48. It's actually the #1 recording console in the world. Mainly because it does the automation, but it has compression in every channel. It just has all the bells and whistles that you can possibly ask for.
It's like a Lamborghini. It costs more than most people's houses around here.
It's a really nice piece of equipment.
It went.
Yeah.
All I know is fancy, huh?
It costs more than the 2 houses I own
Wow.
combined.
Wow. Okay, so is that like, when you see in the movies and people are recording and they're pushing the buttons, or kind of like that?
Yeah,
Is that kind of like
faders
that?
up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like several.
Several,
Way better.
48 of them.
48 channels.
Okay.
it's got all the capabilities. There's nothing left to question.
Well, okay, but I have another question.
Let's
I
listen.
think a question that a lot of people have been asking. There's been a huge bus on the square.
Oh, that was a metal band.
Okay.
They just came for 2 days. We cut all their songs.
What was the name on the bus?
Witch Digger.
Okay, because it was a little hard to read, in
Yeah.
passing, and you're like, who is here? What is going on? This big, huge bus.
Yeah, it's a school bus. They spray painted black.
Interesting.
Spray painted it black. Just remember that, Lauren.
Yeah.
Okay. Trim. For anybody wondering, Ricky is trying to remodel the inside of the station.
Yep.
And he thinks that the walls need to be painted black.
A wall, not
A
all the
wall.
walls.
It's an accent wall.
Yeah, just one
Do you
wall.
have a black wall in the studio?
I have black ceilings. Most of the trim is black.
It's been a long time since I've been in there, and I was only in there
Oh.
once.
We have a lot of exposed brick.
I like the exposed brick.
Yeah,
Can we
that was-
get some wallpaper?
Yeah, that was
Some
Mike's
exposed
idea.
brick wallpaper.
Let's have fun.
So how long you been doing recordings, Michael?
About 10 years.
What got you into it?
So oddly enough, I used to live in Swanee in the summers, and I used to go down to Shenanigans every day. And I went in one day, and my friend Monica was the manager, and she said, "You'll never guess who was just here." And I said, "Who?" And she said, "Old Crow Medicine Show." I was like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Guess what else?" I was like, "What?" She's like, "They want to play here." Well, the owner came in and said they couldn't play there. And a friend of ours heard that they wanted to play there and started telling people that they were going to. And there's a buzz around town, but they were not going to play there. So I went and found them and told them about Browns. And I got them to play at Browns. And the guy in that band, Corey Yance, later got into Jack White's band. And that's how I met Ike. They were in that band together. And Ike and I started recording together. But it all started with just an iPhone 4. The original iPhones had 24 karat gold condenser mics in them. I just go to house parties and stuff, and people would let me record them. And I just did it for my own entertainment, but I played that for some people, and they were like, "We got to do some stuff together," and that's how I got it recorded.
Have you always been into that, I guess, behind the scenes part of music?
Yeah, absolutely. I used to drive a tour bus or like a van for this guy named Clayton Anderson back in the day, and I was always like kind of on the managerial side of stuff. But when I started hanging out with Corey and all these musicians, I'm also a guitar player, but these guys all have Grammys and things like that. So I was like, I should be on the other side. I should just be recording and not playing.
So why Winchester? Why bring it back here?
Well,
I mean, it's not the hotbed of music.
right.
People
well,
can sneak in, though.
yeah. Well, I had a studio. I also am a tour chef. I cook for like Bruno Mars, Taylor Swift, Zach Brown. But WWE was my main tour. Well, they gave me a bunch of ring canvases that they wrestle on, and I hung them from the ceiling in a warehouse in Deckard, and made my first studio out of that. It was going really well. Well, Michael McDonald has this building that I'm in now, and a friend of mine, Sonny Campbell, is an electrician. He was doing some work over there, and Mike's sister was there, and she was kind of moping around one day. They were going to turn it into like an ice cream parlor or something like that. And she said, well, Mike always wanted this to be a studio. And Sonny said, well, Michael Lee has a studio on the other side of town. And they called me. And they started asking me all these design questions. I was like, what's going on here? And she's like, oh, we want you to move in here. And he came down and said, I'm going to build you a studio.
Okay, backing up, you were a chef.
Mm-hmm.
So walk us through that. Like, how does this fall into your being in recording?
Okay, so, well, I produced Ike's record. He was in Jack's band, and literally the same week that I burned him the first copy of his album, he passed away in Mexico City. He had a hereditary heart disease, and I just quit. I wasn't doing anything. And a friend of mine said, hey, do you want to come work at WrestleMania? And I went and did that. And when I got there, he was like, well, you might have to wash dishes or something. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So on the show day, they bring all these extra radios because they combine all these extra crews because WrestleMania is the biggest event they have, And there was some extra radios. So I took one and I kind of made myself known, like that. I was capable of helping out with quite a bit more, and they hired me. But I was, I don't know. I was lost whenever Ike died. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I just kind of fell into that.
Hold on a second. So you just grabbed a radio and kind of just started doing
I
your
can
thing?
see it.
In catering, which a lot of people are like, I'm a chef. I'm like, shut up and make the mashed potatoes. It's not that big a deal. So it's like you can't have a lot of pride in it. You can't be, like if somebody needed some balsamic vinaigrette for the buffet or something, I would just hear it on the radio and I'd go get it for them and bring it to them. Just kind of, get in where I fit in. And they noticed that. So.
Yeah, you got to take the initiative.
Yeah.
Be a go-getter. That's one of the first things I tell anybody that we hire is if you see something that needs to be done, you don't have to ask to do it. Just do it. It goes a lot further. That's a great lesson.
I tell everybody it's better to ask forgiveness and permission.
Amen.
Some situations, not all. Not all
I
situations.
can't think of a single situation in my life where not asking for forgiveness
Oh,
didn't work out for me. You've got to just got to jump out there. I'm not one to test the waters. I like to jump in.
I figure it out as I go.
Yep.
That didn't work. Back up. Let's try that again. So, yeah.
Oh, the main thing that got me noticed was I was stocking dressing rooms, and the sign on the door said Steve Marley. And I jumped in the golf cart and went down to the production office. And I was like, I need some more signs right now. And they're like, why? I said, because it's Steven with a PH and an N, not Steve Marley. And they're like, oh. And they printed them out really quickly. And I went back down there. And as I'm putting them on the door, this guy in a suit walks up and he's on the phone. He's like, actually, there's a gentleman here right now changing them out. And I ended up hanging out with Steve Marley's crew all day after that because I got his signs changed. I still have the signs at the studio.
All right. So the bands that are coming in, how does someone, because I know it's not, I'm trying to think how to word this. It's not a studio for karaoke singers to come in and to try to just,
Right.
play around. This is a serious setup, and there's some good bands in our area. There's some really good bands around here. I joke around about this not being a hotbed for music, but there are some really
Yeah, there's a lot of
talented
talent here.
in this area. I mean, look at, we just had this runner-up for American Idol come from right here last year. You've got a lot of talent that comes through this property, this area. So how does someone book with you if they're wanting to get some time?
My number's on Google. Anybody can call me. We have rarerecords.tn on Instagram. They can email me, michael.lee@rarerecords.org. I'm pretty easy to get in touch with.
Just
Do
don't.
you respond?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
I don't respond to
100%.
emails.
It comes right to my phone, just like,
I don't. My emails are horrible. I don't ever check them.
Yeah, I read something that said marketing, like, you have like a 15 to 30% chance of somebody opening an email, but if you text them, you have a 90% chance of them reading it. So, yeah.
The worst marketing tool out there is a flyer.
Right. I've had a lot of people hit me up on Facebook, and they've come through and checked us out.
3% return on flyers.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't waste my time. I'm not patient enough for that.
So what's the goal for this place?
Just to make music. I just want to make records.
You want to be able to hang some Grammys in there one day?
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. Good
If you
friend.
said no to that, I'd laugh at you.
Can you share like some of the records that you've recorded here?
Sure. The very first record I did in Deckard at the old studio was a band called Supersonic Octopus. And I went and saw them in Manhattan. They played at this called The Bitter End. And I went in there, and they had all these vinyl records on the wall, and it said all these records were recorded here. And right in the middle was Donny Hathaway Live, which is like my favorite record of all time. And I was like, every hair on the back of my neck stood up. I was like, I know these guys are going to be good because they don't let just anybody play in here. And they were really, really good. And I was like, you guys want to come to Deckard to make a record? And they sure did. They sure did. And then after them was Rubedo from Denver. I've done 2 of their records. They're coming back in May. We've recorded a lot of people locally. Danny Owens is somebody we've worked with. He's got some good stuff coming out. Kid Logan Graves, who you saw at the studio, making his record. Just
Good country artist that Logan is. I was impressed, though, Saturday.
with Dylan McDonald, Mike's son. He's
I was not expecting I wasn't expecting that. Like one, because it's a small venue, and the way it's set up, it's not a big throw. And with those speakers, like it's gonna be so loud in this room. It's gonna be deafening.
We had them turned way down.
And it sounded perfect. Great sound. Put on a heck of a show. His fiance, she could sing.
Yeah,
Good
Peyton.
God, Peyton can sing.
Yeah, I was listening to that last night. I'll get you those mixes for the video.
Yeah, I was very impressed. We videoed it, so we're going to master the audio to the video and get that going so we can post it here soon.
Oh.
But I was very impressed with that whole show, and I thought his voice, great voice.
Now, is that something that you're going to be doing more of? Opening.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll be open quite a bit more on the first floor. We've got Jeremy Mason's record collection. We've got about 1,500 records in there, so that's not a terrible amount. But he's got about 20,000. So if there was a record you wanted, he's probably got it.
So are we selling the records?
They're for sale, yes. So typically we keep the record store just closed. The whole vibe of the studio is kind of like a green room, like you would be in before you perform. Because a lot of people think the studio is for rehearsals, but it's actually a performance. You know, when you come in there, you need to have your stuff nailed because, you know, time is money, and you're going to be wasting your time and your money if you're not ready. So we just try to keep the vibe in there, like, you know, super chill. So if somebody's in there recording, usually the whole place is locked up so they can have the whole building. But they go down there and thumb through records, and bands buy more vinyl than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Vinyl's making a comeback.
It is. It's sold more records than CDs since 1987.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, when's the last time you bought a CD, Lauren?
Probably before 1997. I don't know. I really can't remember.
So when I lived in Korea, it's funny. You can buy anything on the market over there.
Oh, for sure.
Like any movie, any CD, anything, but it's all burnt. Like because they've pirated it all.
Oh.
So you're paying like $3 for whatever the newest album is instead of I think at the time's like $15 or $16. But I'd never do it. And all my friends like, dude, why? Because I go to the PX and just buy it there. And like, why did you do that? It's like, I want the art. I want the album art, the artwork for the CD cover, and I want the art on the disc.
Right.
It's like I'll pay the extra money just so I can have that. But you could get anything. Pirating down there was crazy at the time. That was one of the things. Like when you do an album, how does that work? Because you don't master everything there, right?
No. So typically, you track something somewhere, and then you get a fresh set of ears to mix it, and then a fresh set of ears to master it. So I use a guy in Denver named Tyler Lindgren for mastering. But I have access to quite a few engineers in Nashville. My pal Taylor Nyquist, he's out with Thomas Rhett mostly, but he does a lot of Jack White stuff. With the Rack and Tours, when they tour, they have basically a mobile studio. He mixes everything live. So I've got some of the best in the industry that can mix my tracks. And I'm not the engineer. I just recently got Sam Fell from Chicago, and he worked at a studio called Gravity up there, and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Sam's pretty cool to talk to.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. So I kind of let him run with it as far as the mixing.
All right. I guess the other side of that is when they come to live shows, you're recording live shows. I was kind of impressed the way you had it set up there. So you recorded everything up in the main studio, but you also had someone running a mix downstairs. So you had two different mixes going at one time.
Yes, sir.
That's complicated.
It can be. It can be complicated. I mean, you saw I was trying to figure it out with Logan. Like we're using radios, like using walkie-talkies. Like, can you hear this? How's this sound up there? And we're just like trial and error.
You know, we did the audio. To be honest with you, I thought the audio worked really good for him for our feed. I think that's something I'd like to play with some more, is doing the full live recording of it. I like the way a live sound.
Yeah, I love live sound. That's another thing too about our studios. Like, we have all these capabilities because you have to. Like, you know, people come in and question your gear, and optically, you have, you know, the internet's ruined it because you can capture a good sound with just about any equipment if you know what you're doing. But the reason we have that console is because, you know, you have to content, and people have to see what you're using. You know, it has to be impressive. But really, we just want to record talent. We don't really want to auto-tune a whole bunch of stuff. We don't have to fix a bunch of things, you know. And I want to listen to something that's good, you know.
Auto-tune has killed music.
It has because, you know, used to, I was reading something about Chris Cornell the other day. He would go in and do like 100 takes until he got it just perfect. and there was no auto tune. There was no effect on his voice, and that's how Logan is. There's no effect on his voice. You know, they don't. He's like, "Can you put some reverb on this?" And I put it on there, let him see it, and then I take it off, and he wouldn't know the difference because it's not. He's that good,
Wow.
and that's some people need a little touch here and there we can help with, but if it's not easy to listen to, if it's not, if we're not having fun, we're not doing our job. And if you can't sing or play, there's not much we can do for you. We can get people to play for you, but we can't get people to sing for you.
All right. So the other side of this is it's not a huge area,
No.
and we're talking 35 to 50 people max.
Sure. Comfortably.
Comfortably.
First floor. The whole building's 4,700 square feet.
Yeah, but I'm talking to see a live show.
To see a live show, probably 50 people is the most we're going to have in there comfortably.
So how do you get on this list to be one of the 50?
Just RSVP. I sent out the first one we did. I sent out just text messages and didn't really advertise it. So we'll probably advertise more in the future. I want everybody to get a chance to get in there. So like if one show filled up really quickly, we would do another one.
Yeah.
I kind of like the exclusivity because I'm
Right.
inside the inner circle. So
You're always on the inside, so whatever.
So I like being one of the ones like, oh, you didn't get to see that show? It was so nice.
It was
there's
great.
About 35 of us in there. Real
Intimate.
real comfortable setting.
Yeah.
I sat back on the couch Saturday, just sat on the couch watching the show. Like, and this is one of those guys that I really believe, listening to him sound, this is somebody that's going to play some big venues.
I think so.
Yeah, he's going to move on and play some really big shows and be, all of us have that story. That one band you went and saw. For me, Fall Out Boy. I was one of like 12 people in the bar one night when they first started playing. We were in up at I just went blank, North Carolina. Oh, the Outer Banks. We're in the Outer Banks, North Carolina. We're sitting in some little fish camp. These guys come and start playing. Like, they're pretty good. And I remember it's 2 or 3 months later, you're hearing them on the radio. I'm like, my buddies goes, dude, that's that band we went and saw. And I was like, no, yeah, it is. That's them. But it's kind of cool to be able to say that. And like, I think Dylan's another one. I think that's gonna be a guy that later on, I'm like, yeah, that's probably one of about 40 people sitting in the room listening to this cat play.
Right. Yeah, that's what we want to do too. Is catch people on their way up. We catch them on their way down too, but it's better to catch them on their way up.
It's a fun setting. It really is. Tell us kind of about the design though. Like, where'd y'all come up with the ideas for it?
So honestly, between Kathy Walker, which is Michael McDonald's sister, Mike himself, and me, we just did it all together. She had a lot of good ideas. She made sure all the doors are hung high enough that we can run cables under everything. I did the last Future Birds record. I did their Halloween record. And there's 6 of those guys. Well, there's 7 of them when they have a keyboard player, but he wasn't there. So we had so many amps, we had to run the pedal steel player's amp in the bathroom. And we were able to do that because all the doors are hung high enough that, you can run cable under them.
Yeah, that is definitely not something I would have thought about while doing it.
Right. And also, she had them run a conduit from the 2nd floor to the basement. So we got an echo chamber in the basement, but we can run mic cables through this conduit directly down there. That was her idea as well. She had a lot to do with the design as far as the aesthetic. And then
That sounds like a genius right there to
She's-
just think about things like that.
yeah,
I like to put Lauren in the echo chamber.
Yeah.
Why?
It'd be fun
But why?
just to hear the echoes.
Okay.
yeah. When Mike and I first met, we were walking around the studio and we got to the 3rd floor and he was like, bedroom on these 2 doors. I'm like, yes, because I was like, I didn't know how he's going to be about me staying in there because sometimes you're working on a record, you're in there endlessly. And he said, do you know how many floors of studios I've slept on? So it was really cool.
What's the longest run you've spent in the studio without leaving?
I would say 3 days. 3 days. Yeah, 3 days because when Future Birds came, I didn't leave the whole time, and they had to leave to go play a festival in Atlanta, and they came back. So they did 7 days with me.
Wow.
They may be coming back. They're playing the Ryman the May 20th. They're another band. They're on the way up.
Now, I just want to let you know I'm upset as I saw a picture you posted Monday, and I was like, I can't get a text message say, hey, come to the studio, hang out for a minute. Somebody you had in there just picking at a guitar.
Oh, who, Garrett?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a good friend of mine. That's one of my best friends.
I'm just kind of upset about that one.
Who was it?
Garrett Hedlund.
Yeah, we're just.
Lauren's like, thinks she's lost.
I am.
So he's a really good country singer.
Okay.
Very good actor.
Okay.
He's got some new music coming out.
He was in the new Tron. He was the lead actor in the Tron movie. He was Friday Night Lights. Got so many things.
He was also in Country Strong.
Yeah,
so,
Country
So
Strong.
we call him Country Tron because he was in.
Country
Wow.
Tron. He's a really, really good, like I said, great actor. And I saw up here, I was like, yep, wait till I see Michael Thursday. I'm going to give him a hard time about this one. Could have got a heads up on that one. Just stopped in for a second.
Yeah, he wasn't here very long.
I'm one of those rare people. My daughter, it confuses her, but I enjoy music. It just doesn't. I don't hear it like everybody does. So I'm good sitting in silence, and I don't keep up with a lot of stuff.
I sit in a lot more silence than I used to. I used to have music going 24/7 nonstop, but actually you need the silence as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now you like those car rides home with nothing.
Nothing. That means you're getting old. Welcome.
Right? I'm making that Witch Digger record. Those guys are good. They're really good. And they came, and they said it was between me and a guy that had some couch cushions stapled to the wall for sound absorption. And they're like, we're going to go with you. But I said, well, you guys must be good. And they said, why do you say that? And I said, well, because you all drive. Like, one of them's from Nashville, one of them's from Huntsville, and the rest of them are from all over the place. I was like, you have to be good, or you guys wouldn't drive together, drive from so far to play together if you weren't any good. So, and they ended up being really good.
Now, you just got back from London, did you say?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went to Tyler Childers and Ian Thornton, who's one of my best friends. They took me to Abbey Road for 3 days.
Oh.
And we got to cut with a guy named Gordon Davidson and his engineer, Tyler's engineer, the guy that mixed Hounds, his last record, Kenny Miles, which actually, what's today, the 13th?
Yep.
Tomorrow, the 14th, Kenny Miles will actually be opening for Tyler in New Orleans. And his band's called Wayne Graham, which when I was a kid, Wayne Graham was a contractor my parents built cabinets for and stuff like that. So I was like, Wayne, why'd you pick that name? But he's from Kentucky. But yeah, London was great. We were there about 10 days. Tyler played 2 shows. And I got to hang out with those engineers. They really solidified what I'm doing, the way I'm doing it. Because a lot of times now, band members don't even see each other. Like, the bass player and the drummer will come play their parts, the guitar player will come play their parts, and then the vocalist will come in.
Do you just overlap?
You just overdub all that stuff, but I don't like that. So we have a pretty large live room, so I like to get the whole band playing. And actually, some of that Logan stuff, we had a whole band playing, and the drums seemed like too much, but he was doing scratch vocals in the room on a SM7B like the ones y'all have. And the drums were bleeding through just a little bit, and we kept that because it was perfect. I just cut all the other drums out, and the drums come through his mic. And that drummer's name's Charlie Powell. He's really talented. He's our percussion specialist.
So when you get these guys come in, how much do you know about them before they start?
Do you
Do a lot of research?
I just like to talk to them. I want to get a good vibe. I don't want somebody that's going to throw a chair at the control room window or something if they don't like the way it sounds. Or
I'm just talking about like their sound in general. Do you listen to some of their
for
previous
sure.
stuff to kind of
absolutely
see what they're going for?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And then we just sit down with them and say, what do you want to accomplish? What are you trying to get out of this? Like, which direction do you want to go? And when we do their mixes, we'll send them a rough mix and see what they say. Give us their opinion on what they think, like a little of this, more of this, and just kind of compare it to some bands that they like and let them tell us. So it's the mixing part of it. The engineering is actually an art, like, and the extensive. You can go down a rabbit hole with any of it. So I'm glad to have Sam because he can go down that rabbit hole and I don't have to go so deep. I can just say this, that, or the other, and he can hone in on what you want.
It is definitely a lost art learning how to do that.
For sure.
Lauren's still lost.
I'm kind of in awe, honestly. You never really think of how deep it is to record or to record an album, or you don't realize the work that goes into the backside of it. Like, people listen and they enjoy it and they sing along, but it is an art. There's such an art to it, and that's why I say, like, I don't hear it the way that others do. I don't remember things very well. And so I'm just in awe listening to y'all talk about this and the way that you're able to recall the albums that they've done in the past and things that are so long ago. It's a passion.
It is definitely a passion, for sure.
So when you're at Abbey Road, did you take the picture?
Did you take the
Oh,
picture?
the crosswalk.
Yeah.
I took a picture of the crosswalk, like looking down it. But there's so many people there. Like you get hit by a car. Paul McCartney was there a few weeks before us, and he almost got hit by a Prius trying to recreate his own photo. I mean, it's busy right there.
I've got a picture of
But-
3 of my friends doing that when I was there in '05, I think, '04. I can't remember when I was there last. And we lucked out. It was one of those points where there's just hardly any traffic, and we did the walk across, got a picture. And of course, I was barefoot. 'Cause somebody had to be.
Somebody had
So
to, and of
the-
course it was you.
Of course, it's me.
The building I'm in, the reason Mike bought it, that mezzanine, that second floor where that stairwell goes up, well, that's what the stairwell looks like at Abbey Road, and that's why he bought that building. And it was crazy because that's the first conversation he and I had when we met, and I never thought that I would end up getting to go to Abbey Road, let alone get in the building. Like, it's
Bucket list item.
Right, thirdly, be on a session, like to be able to hang. But yeah, the reason he bought that building was because the second floor reminded him of the Abbey Road. Obviously, it's quite a bit smaller, but
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm a huge Beatles fan, so it was all, like, it was an awe going over there and seeing it. It was one of the things I had. It wasn't on our itinerary to go to Abbey Road and look at it, but I was like, yeah, I'm not flying across the pond and not making this
right.
trip over here.
It's a special place. I didn't realize how many movies are scored in there, and all the walls, like down. I mean, all Lord of the Rings, like all the Marvel movies, all done there.
So that's another
Really?
thing. You ever, yeah.
Did not know that.
So have you thought about doing that also? Some movies.
Scoring films. So actually, Sam worked on some film, and a few of my friends are directors and things like that. We've considered it. That console has a capability. That's like a lot of TV studios use things like that for editing. We could get into that, but the competition on that is so stiff. Like, you think music is political. It's like the movie world is a different animal altogether. Like, like all the signs around Abbey Road that say you're probably never getting in. The film industry, you're probably never getting in on that level. It's like, it's very tight. Yeah.
But is that even anything that you, really want to push?
I would love to score a film. I would love to pick the music for a film. A good friend of mine, Clint Stapleton, out in L.A., he's a music supervisor. He picks all the music for like TV shows all the time. He picked all the music for that Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg show. Like, I thought that's really cool. Like, so I would like to be able to pick another friend of mine, Josh Graham, Eastbound and Down. So
The TV series.
yeah, so
Oh.
the opening song, the theme song is Freddie Jackson, and it's called "Going Down." He picked that. He actually got that on that show, which is crazy. But I would love to be able to do that. But the opportunity, may or may not arise. I'm not seeking it out.
Right.
But I would be.
If it comes,
I would
you're
be
glad
interested. Sure.
to-
If somebody said, "What do you think about this?"
Well, you look at movies, and that's one of the things that I do. Dad and I would always talk about it, going through like, what's your favorite, the score for a movie. Which one did you like the best? And we talk a lot. Anytime we watch a movie, we talk about the music in the movie. One of my favorites, talking about Marvels, was Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. That soundtrack was killer.
Yeah.
And but you go back and look at soundtracks, and there's a lot of movie soundtracks that are
Like
iconic.
Forrest Gump.
That's like
That's
Forrest
my
Gump.
favorite soundtrack.
There's
I have
one.
to say my favorite is the Twilight. The soundtrack to those movies were really good.
So there's was it Jar of Hearts, a song from that?
I'm not sure, but
It's a horrible song if you listen to the lyrics. Like, the words are so bad. But I did a wedding one year, and that was the wedding that was the song they wanted to do their first dance to. And I'm like, really? So if you listen to the lyrics on this song, because it's talking about putting his heart in a jar because he's cheated on you, and
wow.
like, it's not very good. But that's what they wanted, so they got what they got.
They got what they got.
But yeah, it's going through Forrest Gump. That's always going to be. It's so hard to beat that.
Yeah,
one.
it's hard to beat. Yeah.
As many times as I've seen that movie, I can't even think of the soundtrack.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Right now, I'm serious. Like, I'm going to have to go back, and that's one of Scotty's favorite movies. I'm going to have to sit down and watch it just to pay attention to the music on it now.
Baby Driver's another one. Have you ever seen that movie? Oh, dude, that soundtrack and that's amazing. It's the whole movie. Geeking out real quick when it comes to sound, the whole movie is set to the soundtrack. So, like, car doors shutting is the bass drum hitting, you know, and everything like it goes.
Oh, synchronized.
Oh.
That's
They
awesome.
synchronized the song to what's happening in the movie, and the whole movie's set like that.
Man, the attention to detail
Oh,
for that.
The first time I watched it, I was blown away. I was like, "This is cool," and I felt like such a nerd because I was the only one of the 7 of us that was realizing what was happening. It's like, how do y'all not realize that this is going step in step together? Like
They're like, no, just watch the movie, man.
pretty much, yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm a geek, whatever.
So, what's one of the funnest things that you have worked on anywhere?
The funnest, I mean, I would have to say, just getting to hang at Abbey Road was the most fun. Like it was, the energy in there is very special. But that Future Birds record was a lot of fun. I don't know, it's hard to nail that down.
Okay.
I have different levels of fun everywhere I go. But
Well,
if we're not, like I said, if we're not having fun, we're not doing our job.
Well, that's the key to it. You know, you got to find a way to make everything exciting.
Fun. Uh-huh.
You know, I tell people all the time, best advice I ever got was find something you do for free and then figure out how to make money at it.
No, I disagree with that because the moment I put a price on doing what I enjoyed doing, it took it away. It like took the magic away for me.
Oh man, I'd find something you do for free for the rest of your life. Figure out how to make money.
That one was hard for me, but I don't feel like I seek money, so I feel like
Yeah,
if
we're
I put a price on it, it takes a specialness.
Yeah, we're definitely not right. We're definitely not doing it for the money. Like the money will come, but you have to put a whole lot into it. You can't be. If money is the driving force in music, you might as well quit.
Yeah, because not for every, you know, every Grammy winner out there, there's 1,000 who are still playing
Oh,
little honky
a
tonks.
million.
A million.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, right?
There's a lot of Grammy winners out there too.
There is a lot of Grammy winners, but not that many.
You know. Yeah, it's crazy going. I mean, you think about live shows, just in Nashville alone. What there's, you'd say 40 a night.
Easily.
Wow.
I mean, at least I'm probably lowballing that number.
No, I don't think so. 40 is probably pretty close. I'd say for the like decent sized venues,
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably 40 going. Any given time.
Okay, so bring us back to the vision. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you're a little elusive. You're a very private person.
Yeah,
So,
I just get called to go do stuff, and I just go do it.
right. I mean, you're clearly doing what you were meant to be doing because everything aligns very well for you and it falls into place and it's where you're passionate and it's what comes natural to you. But in that, you know, you are in a small town and you're able to bring, people are coming to you, seeking you out for these opportunities. What do you see kind of being the vision of Rare in Winchester and locally?
Well, just that. I would like to bring people from out of town so they can come see Winchester. You know, maybe do some shows, bigger shows here in town, like some artists that are, you know, if they're cutting a record, I'd like to do some larger shows. I got my eye on a couple of venues I'd like to use to.
He had a great idea for downtown.
Oh, don't release it yet.
Yeah, don't say
Oh
don't
my
say it on the air.
gosh.
Yeah.
Don't say it on the air.
Yeah.
It's top secret information.
No, it was just such a good idea
It
with the
is.
speakers.
It is a great idea.
Wow, can I not say that? I'm not letting anything out of the bag.
What with the speakers? What do you say?
You were wanting to get access to the speakers
Oh, I want
around
to control.
downtown
Yeah, I want to control the downtown
for the music
Right.
that's playing.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were
Uh-uh,
going with.
no.
Yeah, I would love. Yeah, I would love to get control of those because also I could play stuff we've recorded.
Right, exactly.
you
And then
know-
it would be things that are taking place in Winchester that's playing around the square, and people are getting to hear that.
I might be able to hook you up with that. So,
That'd be great. That'd
So,
be great because
You know, I just brought a memory back to life.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's
it's
all I
not,
did.
It's not where I thought you were going with that.
No, I know when to speak and when not to speak
Right.
most of the time.
Yeah, I've got some ideas up my sleeve for the music, just enrichment, just to bring people. You know, I mean, people are coming to Winchester anyway, but
They are.
The square in that area of Winchester is the most alive I can remember it since
Oh, it's
the early 90s.
yeah,
absolutely.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
I drove around last night just looking at the square, and I was like, you know, there's 2 buildings that aren't occupied, or 3 buildings that aren't occupied right now.
And it used to be
everything
a ghost town.
Oh, yeah, there for the longest time. It was
So, do you know what my favorite time of the year around the square is?
Christmas.
No. Senior banners.
Um,
I
Oh, yeah.
love
Yeah.
driving
Did you
through-
start that?
No, that was Stephanie's fantastic
Was it?
idea. I'll give her
couldn't
all
remember.
the credit on that one.
That was a
Um,
cool one.
I felt like I kind of had to fight to keep it alive, but now I think that everybody sees the value in seeing their babies on the square.
You know, I agree. I think that was pretty cool. I enjoyed when they did the people of Winchester.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was
that
really
was
cool
Abby.
too. I liked that also.
That was a great idea.
You know, so-
Actually, as I was driving through there, I was like, one day in 50 years, my picture is going to be up there. Like, I'm going to be a face of Winchester that I've contributed enough. I got to work on that, clearly, but
Mine'll be
it's a
hanging
goal.
in the post office. Where they hang the wanted poster.
In the wanted poster.
I saw on
He
the
was
square.
so elusive, we couldn't catch
Well,
him.
could not.
That's funny.
It would be, listen, I would sit there and I would wait for somebody to come down because I really didn't even know who I was looking for. I just knew that I was looking for somebody to come out of that building. And as soon as it was Taylor I met first, I think.
Yeah, he's gone now.
Okay. But I saw somebody and I was like, I want to meet whoever that is. So I ran across and then I finally met you.
So you know
Yeah.
how Michael Lee and I met, right?
Huh?
You know how Michael and I met? Football.
Football.
Yeah,
Played
North,
at
North
North.
Junior High Gators.
Are you old like Ricky?
I'm 39 as of last week. I don't know if I should say that on the
He's
air.
not old like me, but he's getting there.
Right. I don't know if I
See-
should reveal my age. I feel like I'm 25.
Well, at least you own up to it, and you're not 29 for the 9th time.
Right, exactly.
We are now celebrating anniversaries.
Nice.
Yep. So, just saying.
Yeah, that's North Junior High football, man. Mark Montoy and Jimmy Moss, they talked to us like we were full-grown men when we were 12 years old, and I love them for it. They changed my life.
Well, you've done a lot in, what, 10 years? Okay, so when did you get started in all of this? Like, when did the path start setting up?
So, like I said, I was hanging with Corey from Old Crow. They had to break up for a while. They kicked out one member. And
I saw their lead speaker speak at TEDx in Nashville.
Secor.
That was
Yeah,
really,
Cash
I
Secor.
liked how he spoke.
Yeah, he's very
Did you say the lead speaker?
Singer.
I understood what you meant. Yeah, I'm going to correct you. But yeah, no, he's very well
said
spoken. He's
singer,
very well.
didn't I?
He's very well educated.
I don't know.
Secor's a smart guy. He's a good guy too.
What was I supposed to say? What's the word? Teach me.
Singer.
The lead singer?
I said singer.
No.
What did I said? Speaker.
I said singer
That's
speak,
all right.
but I
go
got
back, we'll
tongue
go back
twisted.
and listen to it in a second.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever. I meant singer.
Oh, I got to pick at you.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little ganged up on
Oh,
here.
that's all right.
No.
We're not gunning for you yet.
You only
nowhere-
have 10 minutes.
It's nowhere near what y'all did to me, so I don't want to hear it.
I forget words a lot. That's my problem.
Yeah, nowhere near what y'all did to me.
So, well, no, it's not.
All right, so I hear Mr. Mason back there arguing. Michael Lee's here with us this morning, talking from Rare Records.
I'm going to set an
Yeah.
alarm every.
Every 15 minutes, we're going to have to say it. Yeah.
I do need to get better about that. Hey, you know what? While we're introducing you again, tell us where we can find you.
128 First Avenue Northwest.
Do you have a banner, a sign, or
Oh,
anything?
there's a mat. We have a doormat.
A mat.
There's no signs in the window, and I've kept it blacked out because people think Michael McDonald lives there, and they will just come check the door all hours of the day and night.
Oh.
So that's another thing too. Like when we're recording, you don't really want a lot of people coming in, you know, and you don't want people like I couldn't tell anybody when Garrett was there, that kind of thing. You know, like it's most studios don't look like that. They don't look like a storefront. They, you know, my other one was in a warehouse for a reason because you don't want it to look like anything because you don't typically want people to know, you know, what's going on, who's there. It's a private thing. You want them to be able to get their work done.
I'm just going to let you know. Next time he comes in town and I don't get a text message,
Yeah,
we're going to fight.
you'll know.
But
Well-
you know, it also kind of confuses me that people think it's okay to just open doors to
Well,
businesses.
then my doors are locked, so they can't. But you know, like I said, we keep it blacked out, and we're going to be open a little more. We took the.
Are you gonna have regular hours, or is it just catch me when you can?
Well, you know, 24 hours by appointment. You know, if you set an appointment, we'll be there anytime you want us to.
Okay.
And that's another thing too, with the records, like you could pay somebody to sit there all day, every day, but you're not going to sell enough records to support that. But if you set an appointment, also, if people care enough to set an appointment, they're going to
show
spend
up.
money with you as well. They're going to find something to buy. And also, like I said, Jeremy has probably 20,000 records. If they hit us up and you can just tell him a genre, and he's going to show up with 50 records, and you're going to like about 49 of them.
Okay,
he's
so
really sharp on that.
Ricky asked if a musician wanted to record with you or a band,
Mm-hmm.
but can anybody reach out, set up an appointment to come in and tour the building, see the collection,
100%.
potentially purchase?
100%. We're open. Yeah, anybody can set an appointment. Come see
And
it.
they can reach Michael Lee at rarerecords.org
.org.
or
Or-
through Google.
Yeah, they call me. I don't know if I want to say my phone number on the
No,
line.
you don't have to do that.
Yeah, you can. My phone number's on the Google. So
Oops, I've been posting it all morning on Facebook. I'm
that's
joking.
great. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I think I put my phone number on the Google. So it's like,
Listen, everybody, I text my phone number out in mass messages because, if somebody needs to get in touch with me, they're going to find a way. They're going to get it somehow.
right.
So.
The way I've met that band, Witch Digger, one of the guys posted, "Hey, we're looking for a studio," and my cousin just put my name on it, and they showed up whenever I told them how to get there. So I'm easy to reach, and I'm easy to find, in that respect.
Right.
In that regard, catch
To
me.
schedule your
right,
time.
To schedule it, right. So,
Yeah.
and now I have a pretty solid team. I got Charlie Powell, Jeremy Mason, and now Sam Fell. So somebody can be there.
Mm-hmm.
We can set it up. I trust all those guys' judgment. So
All right, time for your questions.
All right, let's find them. Where are they at? I should have these memorized by now, shouldn't
I
I?
don't know why you just don't have a note with them all.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Right here. They're right here.
just
Oh.
laminated page. Keep it with you.
I should. Oh, my spot right here. I'm just going to laminate them. All right. So, do you have any current events or things coming up that people should be looking out for?
I don't think we have anything scheduled right now to announce. We'll keep
We
you
should have
posted
brought
on
you
that.
in last Thursday so you could have announced.
Mm-hmm. We'll keep y'all informed on those going forward, though.
Through Facebook.
Yeah, through here, I'll come back,
Okay.
tell you
Perfect.
when it's happening.
You got it. Is there a personal phrase or mantra that you use regularly, daily?
Yes. Keep everything positive except for the blood test.
That's the best one. Oh my gosh. I was like,
That's
where are you going?
trademark, by the way. I don't want to hear that anywhere else. Yeah.
That's great.
I'm dying.
Lauren's done that for us today.
I don't think I can bounce back. Okay, 1 second. Share something that you feel is completely underestimated in life that you believe would add value if more people understood it or followed it.
Live music.
Live music.
The energy you get, you listen to the radio, but the energy you get seeing a performer pouring their heart out, like, you got to be very vulnerable to sing in front of people. And, like, if you can transfer that energy, it's very powerful.
All right, follow up on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get more from like a session you do at your studio or from going to Bridgestone and watching a show?
It depends on who's playing.
I don't think it, for me, I've gone and seen all of them. And I like that small, intimate group setting. I think you get more out of those. Like I've seen for example, I've seen Chris Stapleton, seen perform at Bridgestone, horrible, hated it. Thought it was one of the worst shows I've ever been to in my life. Saw him at the Ryman, one of the best shows I've seen in my life.
Right. And I do like smaller, intimate venues, for sure.
I like
The Rhyme is definitely my favorite.
saw Jewel at Third and Lindsley. Amazing show. Like she sat there, talked to us the whole time. Did in between songs, it was just a fun night. And there's maybe 150 people in the room. Like I love live music, but I like the aspect of going and being in that smaller crowd. So it's more personal, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree there. I haven't been to a lot of concerts, but I've been to.
I mean, I enjoy concerts. Don't get me wrong. I think they're fun, but and those are still, it's a disconnect between the stage and the audience.
My grandmother got me going to live music. So her brother, my grandmother's name is Gladys Lee, and she just turned 97.
Oh wow.
But in the late 80s, early 90s, her brother Harry Rutledge had a band, the Harry Rutledge Band, and they played at the Elora Community Center every Saturday night. And she would take me, And from 6 to 8, there was square dance. We never went to the square dance. 8 to midnight was country and rock and roll. And the deal was we'd go to that and then get up and go to church every Sunday. And that's really what got me hooked on live music, was going to that every week.
Yeah.
So yeah, live music is the driving force
That's
of
the
my
magic.
life. Absolutely.
All right. And then if you could shout out another local small business or individual, who would it be?
Off the Hook screen printing.
That's
in,
my boys.
in Hunland. Alan Fincham, Josh May.
Okay.
They just printed all these shirts for me in record time.
In record
I
time.
think I went and saw them on Monday, and they had them ready by Friday, and I ordered like, I don't know, 200 shirts or something.
Wow.
It was good.
Yeah, that's my boys down there.
Yeah.
Really?
Josh and Alan doing outstanding. Josh and I graduated together. Alan was a couple years ahead of me in school, but
Yeah, these shirts are DTF, which is direct to fabric. I'm going to get that out there. But they don't crack, or I've already washed and dried this shirt. It doesn't shrink. So yeah, Off the Hook.
and they're comfortable. They feel good.
Yeah.
I've got one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else do they do?
I do hats,
Hats,
jerseys,
everything.
yeah, uniforms, the whole nine.
He's doing about 600 teams, I think he told me,
Yeah.
something like that. It's crazy.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's they're doing really well with that.
All right. So we've got Michael Lee with Rare Records in downtown Winchester on the square, bringing in lots of bands and musicians to record here locally.
That's right.
Starting to have some shows every once in a while if you stay posted or know where to look.
I think we're going to try to work on one a month. So we're
Probably
shooting.
one a month. Yeah, at least one a month, maybe 2 a month. We're going to try to get them maybe every weekend. We'll get there. We're just, trying to work out the details.
Okay.
But I'm really excited about it. I think the venue is great. It's a fun atmosphere. Maybe figure add some food to it eventually.
Oh, for sure. So that's another thing. I've got a Viking 5 Series in the kitchen. I just hadn't hooked it up yet. The hood system, the one that came with the stove, is Viking only makes a chimney, and so I got to get a horizontal one. I got to get into that. But I've got a Rolodex full of chefs that I don't want to cook anymore, but I know some serious chefs that'll come cook for us.
Wow.
So I'm excited about the potential this place has here in the square in Winchester.
Right. It's amazing.
I'll
Thank
invite you next time, Lauren.
Okay. Well, hopefully I'll be available too.
Yeah, that's the hard part. She acts like we don't invite her to stuff. She's always busy.
She's too busy, right?
I know.
Everybody's busy.
I just take one step after the next. That's all I do. So,
All right.
well, thank you for coming in with us.
Thanks for
today.
having me. This has been fun.